So 13 through 16 are same as the four previous. We're still finding the exact trig function that's given to us, but instead of degrees, it is now in radians. I will do one of the tangent ones. It's the same two-step process, except for in this case, I need to get it from 0 degree, or I'm sorry, not degrees, we're in radians. 0 radians to 2 pi radians. One trip around the unit circle is from 0 to 2 pi. I need to get it within that realm. And so for 16, if I was going to do 16, then I need to take negative 9 pi over 2 and get it between 0 and 2 pi. I know it's not there because negative 9 halves is less than 0. And again, when I'm doing this math, I leave out the pi until the very end. So I'm just going to work with the first step, negative 9 halves. I need to add revolutions to it until I get it between 0 and 2 pi. Negative 9 halves, again, put it in parentheses, negative 9 divided by 2, close the parenthesis, plus 2. That equals, first when you equal it out, put it in decimal form. Negative 2.5. Negative 2.5 is not between 0 and 2. So I got to add another revolution. Negative 2.5 plus 2 equals negative 0.5, or negative 1/2. Still not between my realm, or my range is 0 to 2 pi. So I got to add another revolution of 2. Negative 5 plus 2, and that equals 1.5. So at this point, I like to work with the decimal form first because I can see it easier that 1.5 does indeed exist between 0 and 2. Now from that point, when I've made that check, I can switch it into my final answer form of a fraction. So I would hit, if I have 1.5 still on my calculator, which I do, I hit math, enter, enter, and it tells me that it's 3 halves. And at this point, that is my answer of the reference angle. This blue angle up here is 3 pi over 2. It's negative 9 pi over 2, but it's also 3 pi over 2. So final answer needs the pi there. So now I'm trying to find, I'll put it up, I guess I'll go below, the tangent of 3 pi over 2. I'm going to reference my unit circle. I find tangent, and I find 3 pi over 2. First I find 3 pi over 2. It looks to be right here. The tangent, if you remember, is the y value over the x value. So the y value is negative 1, the x value is 0. So I go back down to here. Tangent is the y value over the x value. It's y over x. In this case, it was negative 1 divided by 0. Now, if you remember from all of Algebra 2, you can't divide by 0. So the tangent of 3 pi over 2 is undefined. But notice, anytime you work with tangent, you will get a fraction at first. This is our final answer.